you sure you're free? What else would I be doing?
Hey guys, this is Jeff, aka 11 Bronson, bringing you the latest update, monthly collection update for the month of May 2023. Picked up quite a modest little stack of movies, and one very very big item, which I'm excited to show you all. So I would just say, without any further ado, let's dive into what I've been picking up in May 2023 and show you guys all the additions and pickups. Here we go. So here we go with the pickups for the month of May 2023. First pickup is a very big item. I don't think you can even, it's not even fitting on the frame. We might have to go handheld to show this a little bit. It is a huge ass book, pardon my French, about everything that has to do with every single James Bond movie ever made. A great book by Taschen. The James Bond Archives. This is the latest version of it, including everything up until No Time to Die. No Time to Die is included as well, so it includes that as well. Yeah, we're gonna go handheld, and I'm gonna show you a little bit closer this book, because this is a very thick, very extensive, and very heavy. Actually, I think this might be around 2 pounds, 3 pounds. You know, in terms of weight, definitely a couple of kilograms. Yeah, let's go handheld, and I'm gonna show you. So here it is, the James Bond Archives, edited by Paul Duncan. It's a Taschen book, very nice, sturdy hardcover, very well bound. Even though it has suffered a nick or two in transit, it's still, I mean, this is a absolutely fantastic book. You can see just how big that is. There's over 600 pages. I think it's close to 700. And this includes so many things about the James Bond franchise. Right away you have a sort of call sheet, schedule for From Russia with Love. This is all the days that the actors are to be on set and stuff, and what props are needed and stuff like that, everything. I mean, this is already a great archival piece in and of itself. And then you go into it further. I'm not going to show you the whole damn thing, because we would be here for hours, but yeah, you got some great pictures. Chapters are by film, so you have Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball. Then you have the 1967 unofficial Casino Royale. Then you have You Only Live Twice, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy. Yes, Never Say Never Again is included as well. A View to a Kill, The Living Daylights, License to Kill, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day, Casino Royale, The Real Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die. Yeah, this goes fully in depth about everything about the making of the films, behind the scenes, some cool pictures here. Sean Connery with Harry Saltzman and Cubby Broccoli, and with the creator of James Bond, the man, the myth, the legend. He wrote the novels that, you know, springboarded James Bond, that really brought the character to life, Ian Fleming. You have a sort of forward preface by current Bond producers, Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli. And the first chapter is about Ian Fleming, actually, about, you know, how he created the character, his books. I think it has an interview with him. So yeah, everything here is included. You know, Ian Fleming is sitting in his GoldenEye estate in Jamaica, where he wrote all the Bond novels. Some cool, I think these are the first edition covers for the books. Yeah, Ian Fleming at his home in Jamaica, right at the beach. Yeah, man, this is where it all starts, so it makes sense that the film or the book here, you know, starts everything, and that it has to start with Fleming. You know, even with Fleming visiting a set of the first two, well, three actually. He also visited the Goldfinger set, but he, you know, with Fleming visiting the sets of Dr. No, From Russia with Love, and Goldfinger, and then we move on to the very first James Bond movie, Dr. No, and talks about all the production, you know, behind the scenes stories, and, you know, everything that went into the making of it, even including call sheets and memos and stuff. And, you know, it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. You know, I'm gonna admit I'm a diehard Bond. I'm a diehard Bond fan. And I like to think that I know everything, but trust me, reading this book, even I found stuff that I never knew before. You know, because stuff like this is in there, like, you know, memos and telegrams that were sent from producers to you know, directors and stuff. And, you know, Sean Connery's notes for Goldfinger is included here, you know, which are drawn up after a meeting. I mean, you know, we're skipping ahead a little. I mean, the amount of stuff in here is absolutely incredible. I know we're already spending a lot of time just here on the first few chapters, to be honest, but, you know, even if you go into here, From Russia with Love, so many cool photos from behind the scenes that I have never seen before. I never saw this still before anywhere, where Connery is being choked by Robert Shaw. I never knew that he was kneeling down on a pillow. This is the stuff that you don't see in the films. I mean, you know, what else is there to say? This is a cool picture, and it's very high end. I don't know what sort of paper it is, but it's very high end, glossy sort of paper for the pictures. I'm almost afraid to touch it. I almost feel like I want to use gloves just to handle this book, because this is a absolute work of art for people like me. We're skipping ahead just a little bit here. Here's Goldfinger. For people like me who are so big into James Bond, you know, it's definitely, you know, one of my favorite movie franchise, if not my favorite movie franchise. I always have a hard time deciding between the James Bond franchise and the Rocky franchise. Those two are the films I grew up on. Those two franchises, I have so many childhood memories connecting to both franchises. You know, it's very hard to choose. But for people like me, this is a Bible. You know, this is a absolute Bible. This book, so filled to the brim with information and some, like I said, some great behind the scenes pictures that I've never seen before. Like right here, for a photo shoot, you have 3 of the Bond girls from Thunderball posing. Very nice, as Sean would say. You know, I never saw these pictures before, and it led to some artwork that people drew up for the posters for possible ad campaigns and stuff. As you can see, you can find a lot of the imagery back into the posters that they eventually... this is absolutely fascinating. So it even talks about how the posters were made, and oh my god, Casino Royale 67. Yeah, to be honest, I've only seen about 20 minutes of this film and never really cared to watch the rest of it. It has a great cast, but this is just such a troubled film. you know what? I don't even want to spend too much time on it. Here is a proper Bond film again. You Only Live Twice. The great Sean Connery returning as James Bond. The iconic Donald Pleasance as Blofeld. I mean, you know, I could go on and on. We're just skipping ahead a whole lot. Here's the Man with the Golden Gun. You know, there's too much, really. This might be worth a separate video unto itself, just taking a deep dive into this, because there's the, I don't know, I don't know what's left for me to say. I'm when I received this book, I was absolutely speechless. When I browsed through it, and I've actually read through the majority of the thing by now, I was absolutely speechless in admiration of you know what they were able to put into this book. And actually, to be really frankly honest, I'm speechless at this moment right now. So we're just gonna flip to a Craig film. Oh, might as well flip to the best, Skyfall. I'm gonna wrap it up here because I know there might be people that haven't seen Spectre or No Time to Die yet. I don't want to spoil too much, but you know, fantastic book. We're closing it up. Fantastic book. Otherwise, I would closing it up. Otherwise, I would go on for hours. But awesome book. Definitely recommend it. Yeah, like I said, man, that's a great book. I definitely recommend it. It costs about 50 to 60 euros. I think it will be the same equivalent in pounds or dollars. You might think it's a bit expensive for a book, but believe me, it's more than worth it. In my opinion, it's the ultimate Bond book. If you have this book, you will need nothing else about the franchise. It is the ultimate Bible of everything. Well, I mean, I say that, but obviously there's going to be, hopefully anyway, there will be more movies. So they do have to keep updating it. But for now, I'm going to say this is the ultimate Bond book to end all Bond books. About the making of the franchise. It's absolutely fantastic. As if the information provided in the book isn't enough, and we're having a nice segue into my movie pickups. I picked up a DVD of a documentary about George Lazenby becoming Bond. This is George Lazenby's fascinating and true life story, and you know, particularly about how he landed the role of James Bond and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And this is a tell-all documentary narrated and sort of, you know, told by Lazenby himself and acted out by different actors. But it's a really fascinating and very funny and hilarious documentary. This really made me appreciate George Lazenby even more than I already did. I always felt like he was a bit underrated, and I felt like, you know, he sort of got the shit end of the stick because, you know, just it's very hard to imagine anybody but Sean Connery in the role, and he was the very first actor to make that attempt, you know, to sort of step into the shoes of Sean Connery, and it definitely was not an easy task. And I've always maintained that Lazenby pulled it off very well, much better than I could do. I mean, I definitely couldn't have done it better than Lazenby. Honestly, I don't think any of the naysayers could have done it better. I mean, you have to sort of admire the fact that he gave it the effort, you know, even if the effort might fall flat for people, if people think he's wooden. Yes, there are parts in the film where he's wooden. There are parts in the film where he's really excelling. He's really great. You know, if he was given one more movie, just one, I think people might feel differently, but nonetheless, this is a documentary I very much recommend. Becoming Bond, the story of George Lazenby. Former Bond girl Jane Seymour is actually in this, which was nice to see. Anyway, recommend this documentary. Now we're moving over to Blu-ray pickups, and the first is a Bernardo Bertolucci movie with a Bond girl, before she was a Bond girl, that has always been on my list of movies to watch. It's The Dreamers by Bernardo Bertolucci with Eva Green, who was Vesper Lind in Casino Royale, even though this was a few years before. And also starring Michael Pitt and Luis Garrel. This is actually a very good, you know, sort of drama film about movie lovers in Paris that also discover their sexuality. I don't quite know how to describe the plot of it. It is just one of those films that when you watch it, it makes total sense. But if you have to explain it afterwards, so much happens. It's very hard to sort of condense it into a little mini synopsis or review. But you know what? There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of nudity in this. Yes, that's true. But I actually really like the story of the Dreamers. Like I said, it's been a film that's on my list for a long time because I really love Eva Green as an actress, and she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous if you ask me as well. And I knew that this film, was her sort of big break before she was in the Bond film. And it's always been one I've been meaning to go back and check out, and now I have. And you know what? It's a really good film, and I'm not just saying that because she's fully naked in the film, and I do mean fully naked. She just really delivers a standout performance in this film. And, Bernardo Bertolucci, say about him what you want. The man made great films, Last Tango in Paris, 1900, Last Emperor, Dreamers. Great director, may he rest in peace. Moving on from one great director to another, I picked up some Clint Eastwood films. Obviously, as some of you guys might know, I did a live stream with my buddies, I should say, plural, Dan and Carlos, Dan's Movie Cave, and Dan's and Eastwood for Life, and respectively, on the legacy and the career of Clint Eastwood. We discussed Clint Eastwood for close to 4 hours. And I picked up some films. This is a upgrade, actually. I had this on DVD, but I picked it up on Blu-ray because to further add to my Eastwood collection. Mystic River, fantastic film. My favorite film that Clint Eastwood has directed. Runner-up is it's a very close call, but runner-up is Changeling from 2008, 2009 with Angelina Jolie. That's another great film. Also picked up, this was a first time watch for me, and new addition to the collection. Hereafter, directed by Eastwood, starring Matt Damon. Interesting film, interesting. I mean, I wasn't too thrilled with it at the end. It didn't blow me away. But it was an interesting one, and I love that we actually have included here is the documentary, The Eastwood Factor, the extended version, which I have owned digitally. I never owned it on any disc, but as soon as I found out that it was included with this Blu-ray, I was like, I'm getting that Blu-ray. I don't have the movie yet, and it's going to be a great bonus to also have that documentary. So, oh yeah, it came with a digital code, but I think this is long expired. Oh yeah, expired 2012. Should it still work, be my absolute guess and use it. I'll try to use it anyway. And then next up, Jersey Boys. Now I've actually completed my Clint Eastwood collection. These were the last two films that I really needed on Blu-ray that I have never owned before. Like I said, this is a upgrade. But these two are brand new additions, and with these two I've completed my Eastwood collection, so I'm very near on doing my Clint Eastwood collection video. But Jersey Boys, I sort of went into it with the wrong expectations. I heard people say it's a musical, this and that. I think we really need to establish what a musical is, at least what it is to me personally. To me personally, a musical is like Paint Your Wagon, that Clint Eastwood did, just to name an example, like Grease, where people are talking, sitting on a table, and they all of a sudden jump into, they start singing. This is not that. This is a film about a group, this is about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, which were singers, and they perform on stage, and they rehearse their songs. That's not the same as them breaking into song. Despite having said that, the very ending of this film is what I would call a musical moment, and I did not really care for it too much. The overall film, it was fine. It was a pretty solid film. We'll probably give it 3 stars out of 5. I mean, any film that has Christopher Walken in it is alright in my book. I love that guy. But yeah, finally completed my Clint Eastwood collection. Those were the last 2 films that I've never seen or owned before that I were yet to pick up. I mean, I also do have to make an upgrade for $1 Million Baby because I only own that on DVD. Have to get that on Blu-ray. I mean, I suppose to really have a full collection and all the films on the best format, I would need to upgrade also Flags of Our Fathers and Iwo Jima, Letters from Iwo Jima, because I do own those 2 on DVD. But honestly, I mean, I do like those films, but I didn't love them enough to sort of upgrade them right away. I mean, they would be upgrades that I could do whenever, really. Not in any particular rush for those. But yeah, I have a complete Clint Eastwood collection now from all films that he did from 1964 onwards. I should put that disclaimer in there because I don't own films like Tarantula or films, from the 50s that he had a bit part in. But I do own, from 1964 onwards, from A Fistful of Dollars onwards. I now own everything that Eastwood has been in or directed, except, another caveat, except for The Witches, that weird Italian film. I have zero interest in picking that up, so if people do consider that part of his filmography, fine, but for me, that's, that's not for me. Anyway, moving on to one last pickup. It's a smaller stack this month, but for good reason, because I have that massive book that was not one of the cheapest books, but and also a expensive edition because it's sold out immediately. I quickly had to grab a copy, the 4K media book of the 1988 seminal martial arts classic, and that launched Jean-Claude Van Damme into superstardom, or that launched Van Damme's career, let's put it that way. Bloodsport from 1988, great German media book, 4K, absolutely stunning 4K transfer, great sound. I mean, and amazing special features. You have an interview with Van Damme, like a 20-minute interview. Sheldon Lettich is interviewed. I mean, I've had the privilege myself to ask Sheldon Lettich a question or two, thanks to Gareth Videothesis, who has done a full interview with Sheldon Lettich on his channel. You can check that out if you want to. I will leave the link to that interview below. I was lucky enough to be invited and ask Sheldon Lettich a question in person. Cameraman David Worth, I have another connection with him because I did a watch party with Gareth Videothesis along with David Worth, who was the cinematographer on this film, but he directed Kickboxer with Van Damme, so that was a great experience. There's 2 people right here that I have a sort of personal connection to, if you want to, if that makes sense. Interview with Paulo Tocha, I think he was one of the martial artists in the film. Paul Herzog is interviewed, who did the soundtrack. There's audio commentary by Sheldon Lettich, Paulo Tocha, and James Bennett. Great special features. I mean, and that's just, just showing you the flimsy J card there. Look at this beautiful cover, the original poster. In the back you have Van Damme versus Bolo Young. A great canon film, Menachem Golem, Yoram Globus, my hats off to you. You guys made some great films. And here's the 4K disc. If we can turn it around. Oh well, fuck it. Let's put it that way. Yeah, Ultra HD. And here's the media book, and here's the Blu-ray. So let's take a look at this very high-end media book of Bloodsport. Unfortunately, all the text is in German, as is usual with these German media books. But, you still get some great pictures. It's still a great, fantastic edition. And sold out, so I had to pay a little extra for this. But, I mean, for years I've owned the Bloodsport DVD. I couldn't even get it on Blu-ray because the Blu-ray was sold out and out of print as well, and going for ridiculous money. When they announced it, I was planning on getting it, but for some reason I forgot to pre-order, and it was sold out pretty much almost immediately. So I got the tip from Carlos, Eastwood for Life fan, on where to get another edition or two. So I ordered a edition for me, and also I've helped Carlos out and ordered a edition for him as well. I mean, yeah, this is a great film, one of my all-time favorite fighting films, martial arts films. The only Van Damme film I prefer to this one is Kickboxer. I really think Kickboxer is the best Van Damme movie, but you cannot go wrong with Bloodsport. And look at this, to finish it off, there's a great shot of Bolo Young, probably one of the most muscular Asian persons I've ever seen. I mean, I mean, Bruce Lee was muscular, but this guy is built like a tank, you know. I mean, great physique. Anyway, 1988's Bloodsport on 4K. There you go. There you guys have it. That was the pickups for the month of May 2023. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the pickups. I certainly enjoyed showing them to you. Like I said, that big Bond book, chef's kiss. It's absolutely amazing. Where all the people involved with that book, should they be watching, you guys, you know, you did an outstanding, amazing job putting that together. I mean, like I said, even the diehard Bond fan that I am, even I found stuff in there, plenty of stuff that was previously unknown to me. So it's a huge recommendation, that book, for the James Bond fans that are watching. It's if you're only gonna get one book that covers the history of the franchise, etc., this is the one. This is absolutely the one. And I'm saying that, you know, because I've owned, and I still own, previous books that were released about the franchise and stuff. But really, this one, it's amazing. And then the great films that I picked up, the Eastwood films, the Dreamers, all solid films. But man, that Bloodsport 4K media book, I'm absolutely thrilled to bits, or chuffed to bits, as you guys in the UK will say. Absolutely so happy with that edition, and having finally a great transfer of a film that's one of my favorites. Like I said, for years I had to make do with the DVD, which, you know, the DVD, to its credit, still was fine enough. And it's never going to be the most spectacular looking film, because it is a pretty cheap budgeted Canon film. But, you know, cinematographer David Worth really put a lot of effort into the cinematography, and it's really on full display now with the 4K transfer, and the fact that it comes with a Blu-ray as well. And I now have all formats of Bloodsport, well, except for the VHS, but then again, we're not video tasties. Hey Gareth, we're not a VHS collector, but, you know, still, on the digital disc format, we have all the editions now, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. Anyway guys, enough of me rambling. We're gonna leave it at that. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe and healthy, and keep punching. And I will see you guys very, very soon.